meal. It's going to be seared vegetables and steamed salmon. So the vegetables act as a bed for the salmon to lay on, and I'm very big on vegetables. I like vegetables and I like color. The more color, the better for me. It just gives me the sense that I have all the different nutrients that are good for our health and our taste buds. What I like to do usually is create a theme. So it's funny because I was thinking Caribbean, but then I was also thinking Italian because I had fresh basil. So this is going to lean towards an Italian taste bud. These are peppers, and like I said, I like color. So usually when I cook, I try to use multiple peppers, not just one color. So we're also going to have some quinoa with our vegetables.
Now, how often do you have quinoa? Do you have it instead of rice, or do you?
I have it instead of rice. Usually, I like the feeling of a grain.
Right.
And I like quinoa because it's a protein. So it has...
See, I didn't know it was a protein.
Yes. And are we going to have guests for us?
I don't know. No, Floyd isn't coming. Nobody's coming. No, and Patricia said when she heard you were coming, she said, what time? What time is she coming? So I don't know if I doubt if she's coming.
Oh, you know.
Wow, that's a lot. What happened?
So it's going to be more than 2 servings. You know what happened? I should have measured the water with this first. But what is this? 1 cup?
That's 1 cup, right.
Okay. And I need this pan.
And does it froth up like rice with the starch?
Not really. It's almost like couscous. Almost like couscous. But it's a little denser than couscous. A cup and a half.
It's a cup and a half per cup, or?
Right, a cup and a half per cup. I like to flavor my quinoa. It calls for like a tablespoon of oil.
Better for you.
I'm a good old West Indian cook. I eyeball a lot of
Okay.
So, since I said Italian, we're gonna season our quinoa with olive oil. Olive oil and a little bit of salt, not too much. Again, I eyeball a lot of things, but maybe I'm gonna measure this. And I'm using Old Bay because we are gonna be eating fish.
Oh, okay.
So, oops, a little too much.
When
it boils,
that's when you pour the quinoa in.
Yeah, that's a strong cup.
Yeah.
So, the next thing I want to do is I want to wash my fish.
Okay.
And season it. So then
Now, how long did you live in Paris?
I lived in Paris for 3 years.
Wow.
So my last year in Paris, I actually took care of Dee Dee Bridgewater's 2 daughters. They were 9 and 13. And I was only 25 myself, 26 by then, or actually 27. And she was doing Lady Day in London. And it became an opportunity for both of us. She had a reliable person to live with her daughters. I worked also in the fashion district. And so they went to school and I went to work. And so in the evenings I cooked dinner for them and myself. And you know, I was their mom while their mom was in London. So it worked out well. Good experience. And it definitely was nicer than living on the street. So, and I got to live in a part of Paris that I might not have otherwise lived in. It was the 19th arrondissement. So it was just almost, it was headed towards being outside of Paris.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
And so it was a private little street, and it was cute. I thought that we would use some butter and coconut oil. Get all of that in there. I didn't put the garlic in yet, like I said before.
Right.
Garlic will
it'll burn.
Tend to burn. One of the things I bought to add moisture to the pot was
see these beans.
some black beans.
Mm-hmm.
I made these black beans and I made the sauce as well. Protein and legumes. So these are not canned beans, these were fresh beans that I made.
Wow.
So that'll give us some nice moisture to cook our fish. And we're going to lay that on top of there. I'm just going to get the rest of the oil in there. In 1991, I got married and I couldn't find what I wanted because I had these locks that stood up on the top of my head, and everything I tried on looked ridiculous. Plus my wedding was very what we call Afro chic, and I needed something that represented that feeling. So I made this crown that covered, oh no, I think I wore the locks out of the crown.
I think you wore the locks out, yeah.
And the crown came down, but because I kept the sides of my head and the back shaved, it, and so that you get an idea, it had a Nefertiti shape. So, and the lace of my dress was a paisley sequin pearl beaded design, which also was not your average bridal lace. Guest at my wedding that worked at Essence magazine, and they featured my wedding pictures and my headpiece in the magazine and in Harriet Cole's first book called Jumping the Brook. And so
it was all over the book.
Yeah. And people, yes, so as Sandy said, my pieces were in a couple of places in the book, and pictures from my wedding, and people began to call me to create that same piece, and that evolved into me making, that was a cut and sewn piece, and I evolved into doing beadwork with wire and stones. You can wear my headpieces as chokers, you can wear them in your head, you can use them to adorn a candle or something in your room because of the whimsical way that the beadwork is done and the wires. And I'm thinking that it's going to evolve some more as I go into this next phase of my life, in fact. So, you know, Bolani, which is my son's name, Bo, and my daughter's name, Lonnie. That's why it's Bolani. I have some ideas that can, you know, take our headpiece beginning to different levels and different places, and